Hello, everyone, and welcome to the back nine of round number 2 at the 2019 South Florida Open. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, along with Thomas Gilbert. Thomas, we watched as the front nine closed out that Chris Dickerson has just been on a tear. He went from 17 under to 19 under on the last hole of the last video with an eagle. It looks like he's trying to pull away from you.
I know.
The rest of the card.
Yeah, he is. He actually ended up finishing 8 down on the front nine, which is incredible.
Shooting very hot. We move over to hole 10 here. This is 630 feet. That's the chase card as they're throwing their final approach shots to the pin here.
Yeah, here we got a kind of tunnel shot off the tee that opens up to the rest of the fairway. You just want to hit this gap and get as far out there as possible. Oh, I early released pretty bad.
And oh no is what you said, and that, depending on where that ends up, that can be quite punishing. I don't think you got a good kick, we'll say that.
No.
Trying to keep that fence out of play, of course. Over to the right of the fence is out of bounds. So you're on the left side. You're actually not far from your previous drive on the previous hole.
No.
Not usually a good thing.
No, and I just try to go for too much there and catch some branches on the way out.
And then as you were doing that, almost moments later, almost the same time James was throwing, so our catch cam, Juha, caught that shot. So there was James' throw. And now you're still on this left side.
Yeah. Now I go way up over the trees. And I'll have that for a par.
And Chris, who had no problem getting out of the gap, has a nice approach shot to within 20.
Yep.
And Randon with the long drive in the group, he's just throwing a little putter up to the pin.
Yeah, great shot. So here I'm trying to run it. I'm trying to just spin a putt.
Okay. Well.
Yep.
Yeah, you say it was really bad. You know, at least you got a smile on your face. You know you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And it's going to cost you a stroke, as James has a great run for a long birdie. But now here you are. Now this is for bogey.
Yeah.
You just want to be done.
I do. Just slammed down, didn't even give it a chance. And here's Chris to take 3 more strokes on me.
I don't mean to laugh, but man, he is just, you know, he's robot chicken for a reason, right? And
Exactly.
just so methodical and just never lets his foot up off the gas. And a great birdie. And like you said, he's going to pick up 3 strokes on you, and the wind is just ripping right now.
It is.
And we're going to feel that for the next couple of holes here.
Randon has the good idea. Keep the putts close.
And James gives him a little fist bump. Now, we're playing a modified hole here, I believe. I think this is a combination of what is 11 to 12 typically if you were to play the course?
Yep. Yeah, this is 11's tee pad to 12's basket.
And there is a Mando, which I didn't necessarily recognize at first because I was thinking, why aren't they just going way out over the road with a big turnover?
Yeah.
And it's because there's a mandatory forcing you guys to throw a righty backhand hyzer. Is that right?
Yep. That tree with the orange paint and orange flag near the base, that's right there, you can see it. So we gotta go to the right of that tree, and so we're all just gonna throw a big hyzer or kind of small hyzer up the gap. Try to get in a good position.
And you see they've covered the basket, what would normally be 11's basket. They have it covered to somewhat reduce the confusion out here.
Yeah.
There's baskets just planted everywhere. And I'm going to go ahead and say, and I'm not sure of the background or the logistics or the details, but Really unique to come out to a course and to see two sets of baskets, and they're even by two different manufacturers. That's not something I would ever guess you'd see as we watch Randon throw a pretty good approach to within 45 or so.
No, yeah, it's definitely pretty unique to see a course, but I guess I think they had the chain stars first, and then they had a special deal from one of the course designers on the Prodigy basket, so they decided to get slightly nicer baskets.
All right, we saw James slip there. He ended up being all right, but that was just a little slip on his behalf. So the basket is directly behind that electrical box, which you've identified.
Yeah.
So the chain star basket is to the left. That's not what you guys are playing. You're instead playing to the Prodigy basket directly behind that electrical box, which definitely had me confused as well for a moment.
Yeah.
Not being familiar with the course.
Chris playing to the chain star basket. Let's see how that works for him.
Looks like he's got to look at both.
Yeah.
I think a famous Jamie Thomas phrase would be dealer's choice at that point, right?
Yeah.
Jamie Dixon, one of those guys, always give us insight. I like this angle here. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking make it, but just a little short again. I think Chris is also thinking make it.
He's been on a tear.
Oh, it's a little high.
Not sure if the wind lifted that he wasn't expecting or if he just had a little too much juice. We know that 34 to 36 foot range is really a specialty of his.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so close, sticking in there.
Kind of reminiscent of Chris on hole 1, where it looked like a good right chain and it could have fell in, but opted not to. Par 4 is not going to kill you guys here. I think the only mistake to make is, taking a silly number by missing the Mando.
Yeah, definitely.
You give the basket a little inspection. Say, what's wrong with you, right side chain? All right.
Yeah.
Here's hole 12, a tunnel shot that bends left to right for all 270.
That's an early release there by Chris.
Yeah, he was a little bit frustrated. This is one of the few tees that's not a permanent, or at least not yet maybe, a cement tee pad, and he was struggling a little bit with that tee.
Yeah, I believe it's actually a rug brought out by one of the tournament directors. You can see some of the patterning on it there. James with a nice smooth shot, just playing it right up the gap.
Yeah, as you saw, that was pretty much a straight shot, and if you're just playing for this for 3, throwing it dead straight is a good way to go about it.
Yep, and I'm trying to go for the 2 here, trying to send a forehand down in there, and I got a little bit obstructed look from like 30 feet or so. Chris forced to play the flex forehand. Gets caught up a little bit late in the flight.
That was such a beautiful shot, too. But I still think he's going to have a look. He's trying to save that par. I don't believe he's taken a bogey up until this point, and you know that this is the first time that maybe that's really threatening him.
Yeah, I mean, he's hardly taken a par up to this point.
Good point. To him, pars are bogeys, right?
Yeah.
Easy forehand there by Randon. Chris with a good look here.
Oh, another right side chain out. Asking it to scoot down the hill a little further.
It looks like he's taking it pretty well, trying to see if there was any reaction, but when you're a robot, you don't have much of one.
No.
And this is for birdie.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sweet putt. And you might also notice these are a little bit different than the rest of the baskets on the course. This is a temp hole, so this is one of the Prodigy T2s.
Ah, I did not necessarily notice that. Good to point out. So you're going to pick up 2. You've got still a lot of work to do, but you do get to pick up 2 on Chris at that point.
Yeah.
As you've gotten a little closer to the rest of the card as well. So that should give you a little momentum as we head over to a very difficult par 4 that's on deck.
Mm-hmm. So here we got water on the left side. You want to just play a safe shot, but just early release, didn't get my foot rotated forward and didn't allow myself to open up to the rest of the hole. Here's a nice shot. Playing the right side. Oh, got a little dog walker. He was kind of just lurking around, not exactly sure what was going on.
Looks like it's Vinny and Kobe approved. Yeah, that dog walker, I know we waited for him for quite some time, and I swear it feels like he was just lost. I mean, he was just constantly walking back and forth, and then finally when everyone felt he was out of position, for our players,
Yeah.
you guys threw, but it was getting a little bit annoying. I'm all about coexisting in the park, but make up your mind which way you're going, man.
I know. Chris playing that right side as well. And out of nowhere,
he comes back.
almost gets killed.
I honestly forgot he came back yet again, so I guess that maybe proves my point a little bit more.
Yeah.
And now any shots here in the water go to the drop zone as opposed to going where they were last in bounds, correct?
Yeah. So yeah, here I am from the drop zone. Looks like I got a sidearm just trying to skip it up the hill, kind of close to the basket.
If it just sits down, that's not too bad.
No, I'll take that for sure.
To try and get all the way to that pin from almost anywhere is clearly difficult with the hillside and all the other things to deal with.
Mm-hmm. Chris forced to play a thumber roller.
Wow, what a great execution. Oh, and I didn't even notice the branch slide.
Yeah. He has a nice long look in Dickerson range.
And Randon with just a crush.
Oh.
Well, misses his gap.
James looking at kind of a hyzer putt or straight putt.
Yeah, just trying to get himself up there.
Yeah.
And have kind of an easy par.
Yeah.
Chris in birdie position.
Huh. It's a little high on the release there. Maybe misread the wind, it looks like.
Yeah, we saw him 2 holes ago that he missed high by hitting the top of the basket. So to see him clear the basket entirely here was a little surprising as well. Maybe that uphill putt. But Randon can't take anything away from that. That's a great birdie uphill.
Yeah, really good putt.
You adjusting your glasses, is that a tick, or is that an actual adjustment needed as you make a great par save there?
It's an actual adjustment. It's weird when I putt. Sometimes if I'm like sweaty or something, my glasses fall just short, and the top of my glasses like kind of gets in the line, so I have to push it up so I can see everything clearly.
Okay. I noticed there's a few times when you adjust your glasses, and I've always, that's what made me wonder if it's a kind of a habit, a habitual thing, or if it's an actual needed adjustment. But
yeah, probably can do it either way, but I like to push it up a little bit if it's in my view.
No, man's got to see. I'm not second guessing that. So we go to a tunnel shot. Randon's got a little bit of momentum here, and we're going right up the gut, 348.
Oh, I had such a pretty flight until it caught that branch.
What are you throwing here on this tunnel shot?
I got my rock 3. I'm just trying to throw it really hard on this 348-foot hole. but kind of pull it a little bit.
Looked like a fortuitous kick out to the fairway, at least for you. I think it could have been a lot nastier.
Yeah, I was definitely happy to see that. And James is just another smooth shot. Skips a little far to the left, but should be able to get up and down. And Chris with that red M3. Drifts a little right, but yeah.
Yeah, it looked like it wanted to drift, and it got a slight redirect as we're lining up the pin there. And it looks like he's still going to be putting. Now, I asked everyone what their favorite putter was. Make sure you leave that in the comments from the front nine. I'd like to know, what's your favorite shot on a tunnel shot? Imagine you're throwing a 350-foot tunnel shot like this. I want to know, is that a fairway driver? Is that a mid? Is that a putter just to play safe? What are you doing on a 350-foot tunnel shot? Leave that in the comments for your chance to win as we're watching Randon. Real easy approach right under the pin.
James playing the smart layup. You can see just a couple feet behind the basket there is water. Maybe this is in Chris's mind as he lines up this putt. Tries to give it a high floaty run, but just kind of catches that branch. But
yeah, we know he.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say he doesn't seem to be afraid. As I was thinking back to hole number, hole number 2. I don't think he's necessarily afraid of going after a basket near water. He proved that.
No. He's a very confident putter. Very good.
And so no real excitement here on 14. I guess I'll ask the question of you as well. Almost all 350-foot tunnel shots. Is that a mid-range? Is that always a rock 3? Is that always a mid-range for you?
No, sometimes if it shapes a little bit differently, I might throw a flippy fairway driver, but I tend to throw a mid-range a bit harder. Feel more confident hitting the gaps that way.
And speaking of gaps, that is a really good-looking shot. Really tough for Juha to find, but to follow. But right where he was as he whipped around with the camera, that's pretty much the landing zone.
Yeah, that's perfect. That's the gap you're trying to hit. And I kind of early released it again, but sneak through and actually find the chain star basket.
We pan over to give you a look. That's the basket we're going for, is the Prodigy one there. So really the play is right to Juha, who's our catch cameraman, and up by those other 2 gentlemen is officially on the dance floor, I would say.
Yeah. Just not quite enough juice there for James, as he was looking to go pretty centered at the gap.
Yeah, kind of surprising to see him make that mistake. You know, you want to make sure that you have more than enough power to at least clear. It may not be on point, but you got to make sure you have enough power to clear the water.
Yeah. Looks like Chris might have got a bit close to the water.
Yeah, within a foot or 2.
That was a nice upshot from the drop zone there. Looks to have snuck in a little bit into the bushes, but hopefully has a nice out. Wow.
Yeah, just so textbook there, you know, taking advantage of the good break that he still finds himself inbounds, and that wind is again picked up.
Yeah, I was, in my mind, I was trying to play this Anheuser putter shot, and the wind just pushes it, and I was trying to play that, but got caught up a little bit short.
And Randon, a little bit too strong, but he's still gonna have an uphill putt. And it seems like he's really been focused for these last few holes. So maybe his putting stroke feels good. Here you are, still trying for the birdie.
Mm-hmm. Just need to sneak under that.
How does it feel when you watch shots that don't go your way? How does it feel to watch them again a second time?
I just think to myself, what if you just did this a little bit differently? It could have worked out that much better.
Randon makes the birdie. Solid work there, and Chris is going to answer with a birdie of his own. As he pushes back to 20 under.
Yeah. 9 strokes clear of the card.
I don't know if the kids say it, but there's just no chill in his game at that point. I mean, all right, we move out to the Open. We got a few holes to finish up here at the Markham course. Now, this is the morning round, so you guys will have another round in the afternoon. And Randon, that looked like it was headed for disaster, but maybe a good kick?
Yeah, definitely. Chris looks like maybe D6 roller. Super flippy disc. Just kind of burns over in that headwind.
And after it lands, we get a pan to the basket. And yeah, it looked like it got pushed immediately and maybe a little bit nervous for a moment, but it finds the inbounds.
This is a play that I like to go with, just a big forehand hyzer over the trees, and works out pretty well.
It definitely did. At 373 feet, you find yourself looking at a birdie putt. And that's tight, but kicks back out for James.
Yeah, fortunate to stay on the edge there. It's pretty rough in there, you can see.
A little more cabbage love on that right side.
Yeah.
At any point, that could grab it and just pull it, suck it right in, and both times it kicked him back out.
Just a little high once again.
Yeah, he definitely isn't showing any signs of fatigue as you get a great birdie here.
Yeah, happy to get that. Randon cleans up his par.
You're knotted up with him right now at 11 under, and we're almost to the halfway point of the tournament. You guys are playing 72 holes for this A-tier. That's a lot of golf in the late part of the season.
Yeah, but I mean, I couldn't be happier of where it is. I'm just happy to play as much golf as possible in this nice warm weather before I have to head back home.
And I know you and I talked about it during this round that you come down from Canada, you're here to play, and you only have so many days that you can spend in the U.S. At a time. Is it consecutive days or is it just cumulative days?
It's a cumulative. So all my days added up to 6 months I can be in the U.S. And so any 6 months in the last 12 months, and I got to kind of be picking and choosing which tournaments I want to come down to play.
And that flips up for Randon, but lucky for him, he's got that road bending at just the right angle.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, that's going to work out just fine for him.
Chris just pulls it over a little bit, trying to flex it up the middle there.
Of all the amazing shots that Chris has in his bag, I was somewhat surprised to see him going with that attack or that approach.
Yeah.
I know he's got such a great anhyzer. He's got such a good forehand. I was just really surprised to see him trying to play kind of that flex shot off the tee there.
Yeah, I think he tries to analyze the hole before he plays it as well. He has all those shots, but he usually tries to choose the one that will best result in a birdie if he executes. So I think with the headwind that we have, playing that overstable flex shot might have been his best play in his mind.
Yeah, and by all means, I don't need anyone yelling at me saying Why is my 960 rating arguing with his 1040 something rating? I'm just surprised by it is all, knowing he's got so many good shots.
No, I was also surprised a few times with his shot choice, but when I thought about it, definitely was the shots that could be best be executed to get the birdie.
And you guys really have this headwind that makes everything that much more difficult when you got nasty rough on the right, OB on the left, and you're playing to this, small landing zone. I can understand that you're trying to take all those things into account with a headwind.
Yeah. Oh man. Speaking of headwind.
Maybe that's why Randon's grown his hair out a little longer. A better wind gauge.
Wow. Yeah, and he's just confused even by how the disc flies. He thought he read it correctly, but it's just really tricky to get a good putt through that wind.
He's still going to walk away with a par after the solid drive he had.
Yeah.
You guys are still knotted up right now at 11. Dickerson sits at 20. As I said, we're almost coming up on the halfway point of the tournament. You guys started this round at 9:30 a.m. Florida time. I want to say it's pushing about 12:30 at least by now, as you guys are just wrapping things up, knowing we've got another round after lunch, another round out at this course, and then we got to start thinking about daylight.
I know, yeah. I think we were supposed to start our second round around 1 p.m. So the fact that we ended at 12:30 was a little worrisome, but
things got pushed back. Everybody was able to go get their lunch in, but
yeah.
So here we are on 18, 680 feet. Some primarily a headwind, but some swirling winds.
Yeah.
Oh.
Played a little dangerous there, but happy to have it curl back in bounds. Randon playing it over to the right a bit more.
Yeah, keeping it a lot tighter, trying to take the road out of play a little bit.
Yeah.
This is the same driver we saw by Chris on the previous hole.
Yeah, you can see even for Chris that D1 just holds over in this super strong wind. Oh no.
Yeah, not the kick out he received a couple holes ago. And now I know he's just trying to fight to get out, and he gets back to the fairway.
Yeah.
Just barely. So he's got a lot of work to do here on the 680 footer.
And looks to be playing up that right side of the fairway, staying away from the road again.
That's his third shot. So you have a long look at this point, probably hoping just to get up and down and walk away with a bogey.
Yeah.
At any point were you nervous as that one was air bouncing or turning or not?
A little bit when it started to turn, but that was a metal flake destroyer, so I was pretty confident that it would fade back eventually.
Just gotta trust it.
Yeah.
And as we're starting to close out here on 18 of round 2, I want to thank Juha, who again was in from Finland helping out. He spent a couple weeks here in Florida enjoying the weather. I want to thank Pat and the rest of the crew along with TriFly for just putting on the event, making this a destination for so many players in December. I think this is my third or fourth year documenting the event, and it's been so great. So glad you guys are here. And it brought you down from Canada, so that says something.
I know, yeah. Was happy that the flights were cheap enough to make it easy to come down.
Off with a long putt. Oh. Oh, the fake disc kick.
Yeah.
Thinking about what could have been.
Yeah.
Chris trying to close things out.
Oh, wow.
Come on.
And that will be a 10 under round, which is incredible. Gaining, I believe, 9 strokes on me, and he'll have, I believe, 10 strokes over the entire field going into round 3.
James ending with a little bit of frustration. Yeah, and to think that Chris bogeyed one of the shortest holes on the entire course, still shoots the 10 under.
Yeah.
Just an incredible round. You guys will have lunch, come back out. Hopefully you'll join me for some round 3 action.
Oh, yeah.
All right, well, looking forward to it. Again, thank you everyone for joining us. Make sure you do leave it in the comments what your tunnel shot disc of choice is, as we look forward to it. Thanks for joining us, James and the rest of the crew. We'll see you guys during round number 3 at the South Florida Open.